The worst message I had ever received from my mother came 3 days before my sister's wedding. It was only 7 words. Don't come. Sophie doesn't want you there. I stared at my phone, waiting for the next message. It came seconds later. You've caused enough drama already. My hands went cold. I read those words again. Then again. I had spent 6 months helping my younger sister, Sophie, prepare for her wedding. I helped choose the flowers. I called the photographer. I fixed the seating chart. I even paid for decorations when Sophie told me she was running short on money. And now my mother was telling me I wasn't welcome. I called her immediately. She answered with an annoyed sigh. Emily, I already told you. Don't make this harder. Mom, what did I do? You know what you did. No, I don't. You've been making Sophie feel like she's making a mistake. My heart dropped. What? You keep questioning her marriage. I never questioned her marriage. You told her she was rushing. I told her I wanted her to be happy. Mom sighed again. That sigh. I had heard it my entire life. It always came right before she called me dramatic. Emily, your sister is getting married. This is supposed to be her happy time. Stop making everything about you. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Did Sophie actually tell you I said those things? Yes. Then let me talk to her. No. Why? Because she'll only get more upset. I knew then that something wasn't right. Mom, please. Just tell me exactly what I supposedly said. You always do this. Do what? Turn everything into an argument. I closed my eyes. There it was. Again. I was the problem. Not the accusation. Not the lie. Me. Fine, I whispered. Good. I won't come. Thank you. She hung up. I sat alone at my kitchen table. For a few minutes, I couldn't move. Then I remembered something. The conversation Mom was talking about had happened in our family group chat. I opened it. I scrolled back. And there it was. Sophie had asked everyone if they thought she was rushing into marriage. I had replied. Only you can know if you're ready. I'm happy for you. Just make sure you're doing this because you truly want it. That was all. No insult. No attack. No jealousy. Nothing about attention. Then I found another message. A private conversation between Mom and me. Mom had written. Stop questioning Sophie. You're making her nervous. I had answered. I'm not questioning her. I'm trying to support her. Mom replied. Then stay out of it. I stared at the screen. My mother knew exactly what I had said. She knew I had supported Sophie. Yet she had somehow convinced my sister that I was trying to destroy her wedding. I took screenshots. Then I put my phone down. I could have called Mom and screamed. I could have sent everything to the entire family. But I didn't. Because I knew exactly what would happen. Mom would call me dramatic. She would say I was attacking her. And somehow, I'd become the villain again. So I made a different decision. I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't crash the wedding. I would simply keep the truth. Because something told me I was going to need it. And I was right. The wedding happened without me. I stayed home. I didn't even watch the pictures online. But that night, my phone rang. It was Sophie. I almost didn't answer. Then I did. Hello? She was silent. Why are you calling? Finally, she whispered. I'm sorry. I sat up. Why? I don't know. What happened? She started crying. Mom told me you were jealous. My stomach tightened. Of what? Of me getting married. I closed my eyes. Sophie, I was never jealous of you. I know. Those two words shocked me. You know? Yes. Then why did you believe Mom? Because she's Mom. I understood that. Sometimes we trust people simply because they've been part of our lives forever. Sophie continued. She kept telling me you said things. What things? That I was rushing. You were worried about that yourself. Sophie became quiet. I knew she remembered. Months earlier, she had called me crying. She had told me she was overwhelmed. She wasn't sure she wanted such a huge wedding. She was scared of disappointing everyone. And she had asked me not to tell Mom. I kept her secret. But Mom somehow knew. And instead of asking me what happened, she told Sophie I was trying to make her doubt herself. Then Sophie said something that changed everything. Emily, I found a message Mom sent me. What message? She said, don't let Emily get inside your head. I frowned. Why would she say that? I don't know. Then Sophie continued. I checked our family chat. My heart started racing. She saw what I actually wrote, Sophie said. Yes. She showed Mom? No. She showed me. I sat silently. Then Sophie asked. Do you still have the messages? Yes. Can you send them? I hesitated. Then I sent everything. The family conversation. The private messages. Every screenshot. Sophie read them. Minutes passed. Finally, she whispered. She knew. What? She knew exactly what you said. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? She had the same messages. I stood up. Then why did she tell me you said I was attacking you? I don't know. Why did she tell you I was jealous? I don't know. Then Sophie said something that made my blood run cold. Emily, I think Mom has been doing this for years. I stopped moving. What? She told me you said things about Daniel. I never did. I know. She told me you said things about me. I never did. We were silent. Then I remembered every argument between us. Every time Sophie had been angry at me for something I couldn't remember saying. Every time Mom had told me Sophie was upset with me. Every time I tried to talk to Sophie, she seemed convinced I hated her. What if Mom had been carrying messages between us? What if she had been changing the words? What if we had spent years fighting over things neither of us had ever said? Sophie whispered. We need to compare everything. I agreed. And the next morning, she came to my apartment. We sat across from each other with our phones on the table. And we started looking through years of messages. What we found was worse than I imagined. Mom had told Sophie that I thought Daniel wasn't good enough for her. I never said that. Mom had told me Sophie thought I was controlling. Sophie never said that. Mom had told Sophie I was upset because I wasn't her maid of honor. I had never even asked to be maid of honor. Then we found something else. A message from Sophie to Mom. It said, Emily has actually been really supportive. I don't know why you keep saying she's against me. I stared at it. You wrote this? Sophie nodded. Months ago. Why didn't I know? Because Mom never showed you. We looked at each other. Then Sophie started crying. I thought you hated me. I never hated you. I know. She reached across the table. I'm sorry. I took her hand. And for the first time in years, I realized something. We weren't enemies. We had never been enemies. We had just been given different versions of the same story. So we called our Aunt Linda. She listened quietly. Then she said, Your mother has done this before. I stared at the phone. What? Aunt Linda explained that Mom had spent years telling different family members what others supposedly said. She had told Dad that Aunt Linda thought he was irresponsible. She had told Aunt Linda that Dad thought she was selfish. She had even told Sophie that Aunt Linda disliked Daniel. None of it was true. Aunt Linda said, "One lie at a time doesn't look like much. But after years, you suddenly realize the whole family is angry at each other over things nobody actually said." I felt sick. Sophie asked, "What do we do?" Aunt Linda answered, "Stop fighting the story." "What does that mean?" "Ask questions." So we did. That afternoon, Sophie called Mom. I sat beside her while the phone was on speaker. "Mom," Sophie said, "when did Emily say I was making a mistake?" Mom became quiet. "I don't remember. Was it in a message?" "I think so." "Which message? Why are you interrogating me?" Sophie looked at me. I shook my head. "Don't argue." Mom continued. "Your sister is manipulating you." Sophie asked. "What did she say?" "Everything." "What exactly?" Mom didn't answer. And that was the moment Sophie understood. The story didn't have details because the details didn't exist. But Mom still refused to admit it. Instead, she demanded that Sophie stop talking to me. Sophie refused. Then Mom called me. She accused me of turning Sophie against her. I asked one question. What did I tell Sophie? Mom became angry. "You know what you said." "No. I don't." "Stop playing innocent." "I'm not." "Emily, you've always been jealous of her." I took a deep breath. When? What? When was I jealous? Your whole life. Can you give me one example? Silence. I waited. Mom finally said, "You're impossible." Then she hung up. I looked at Sophie. She was crying. Not because she was angry with me. Because she finally understood how easily she had been manipulated. But we still hadn't confronted Mom directly. That came 1 week later. Mom invited everyone to her house. She said she wanted to clear the air. She had no idea we were coming with the evidence. Everyone sat around Mom's dining table. Mom looked at me. Then at Sophie. Then at Aunt Linda. "I don't understand why everyone is suddenly against me." Sophie spoke first. "No one is against you." "Then why are you all here?" "Because we want the truth." Mom's face tightened. She looked at me. "This is because of you." I didn't answer. Sophie placed her phone on the table. "You told me Emily said I was making a mistake." Mom nodded. "She did." Sophie opened the family chat. Then explained this. She showed Mom my actual message. "I'm happy for you. Just make sure you're doing this because you truly want it." Mom stared at the screen. She was pretending. Sophie frowned. "Do you have proof?" Mom didn't answer. Sophie asked again. "Do you have a message where she said I was making a mistake?" "No." "Then why did you tell me she did?" Mom looked at me. "Because I know her." I finally spoke. "No, Mom. You know the version of me you decided to believe." The room went silent. Aunt Linda placed her own folder on the table. "She's done this to me too." Mom looked at her. "Linda, don't." Aunt Linda opened the folder. One by one, she showed the messages. Every accusation. Every false claim. Every time Mom had told one family member that another had said something cruel. Dad looked stunned. Then he spoke. "She told me Emily said I wasn't a good father." My heart stopped. Dad looked at me. "Did you ever say that?" "No." He looked at Mom. "Did she?" Mom's eyes filled with tears. "I don't remember." Dad shook his head. "You told me she did." Mom whispered. I was trying to protect everyone. Sophie looked at her. From what? Mom didn't answer. From your own daughters? Still nothing. I looked at Mom. I don't want revenge. She looked at me. I don't want everyone to hate you. Then what do you want? I answered. I want you to admit you were wrong. Mom's face changed. I continued. You called me dramatic because I defended myself. Tears rolled down my cheeks. You called me jealous because you didn't want to hear my side. Mom covered her mouth. You uninvited me from my sister's wedding because you believed a story you never even checked. Sophie reached for my hand. I continued. And the worst part is that you made Sophie think I hated her. Mom finally broke. I was wrong. Nobody spoke. She looked at Sophie. I was wrong. Then Dad. I was wrong. Then Aunt Linda. I was wrong. Finally, she looked at me. I was wrong about you. I cried. Not because I had won. Because I had waited years to hear those words. Mom continued. I thought I was protecting Sophie. Sophie shook her head. You weren't protecting me. You were making me afraid of my own sister. Mom looked down. And for once, she didn't defend herself. She didn't call anyone dramatic. She didn't change the subject. She didn't blame me. She simply said, I'm sorry. I nodded. I forgive you. Mom looked surprised. But forgiveness doesn't mean everything goes back to the way it was. I understand. Trust takes time. I know. And from now on, if you hear something about me, ask me directly. Mom nodded. Okay. And if Sophie tells you something about me, ask me. Yes. No more carrying stories between us. Mom wiped her tears. No more. That was my revenge. I didn't destroy my mother. I didn't humiliate her. I didn't take anything from her. I simply made her face the truth she had spent years avoiding. Months later, Sophie and I were closer than ever. Mom still made mistakes. But now, when she heard something about me, she asked me directly. And when someone told me something about Sophie, I asked Sophie. No more guessing. No more assumptions. No more family wars built on words nobody had ever said. I learned something from all of it. Sometimes the strongest revenge isn't making someone suffer. Sometimes it's refusing to become the villain in someone else's story. My mother called me dramatic. She called me jealous. She called me difficult. But none of those words were who I was. And eventually, the truth became louder than every lie. So if someone is blaming you for something you didn't do, don't destroy yourself trying to make them believe you. Stay calm. Keep the truth. Ask questions. And let time expose what anger never could. Because lies need people to keep repeating them. The truth doesn't. It can sit quietly for months. Sometimes even years. But when the moment finally comes, the truth doesn't need to scream. It simply needs to be seen. And once everyone sees it, there is nowhere left for the lie to hide.